Yo, what's poppin', guys? My name is Rebel. His name is Yorgo. His name is Pano. And today we have a new guest on the show. 850K on Instagram, from England, the CEO of Endeavor Life, from Too Hot to Handle, David Birtwistle. We're such big fans. Um, so how are you, man?
I'm good, boys. Thanks so much for having me. This is such a pleasure for me to get a chance to speak to you lads today.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
mate. Honestly, like I'm good. I'm good. Like the past couple of weeks has been crazy. It's been so busy, obviously, since the show came out. Um, just like Instagram and WhatsApp and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like email and everything like that. So yeah, I'm good though. I just hit a workout this morning. I'm feeling fresh. How you boys doing?
Yeah, we're all
Amazing.
good. It's like
Uh,
12 in Greece, so we woke up a bit ago. We practiced a bit for this, you know.
Yeah.
We're all
to
good.
be honest, it's not easy for me to wake up early during quarantine, but
Yeah. How's
No,
quarantine?
really, mate.
How's quarantine?
how's quarantine going?
Hard? Is quarantine hard?
It's it's not easy,
Mhm.
but kind of making it work. Like I live in a flat in London. Like it's
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
big.
yeah, yeah, we got you.
Don't have a garden or anything, so it's kind of just like making do with the situation. I live with my sister and her boyfriend, and we kind of just we give each other space. I think that's the important thing. Is that like
Yeah.
when you're in lockdown, it's easy to kind of get on top of each other
Mhm.
and like be a little bit more irritable because you're spending so much time together. But yeah, we kind of like give each other space. We go for walks and stuff, and we're making it work, man. How are you boys finding it?
It's
Uh,
hard, but schools are opening for us May 18th, so that's kind of we're looking forward to that. But
We're
what
gonna
about
yeah,
you
have a
guys?
bit
they're
of a normal
they're
life.
actually putting 13 to 14 students in each class. It's gonna be crazy, I think, but we'll see how it goes.
So there's
So
going to be 13 to 14 people in each class.
Yes,
yeah.
it's
So how many
like
are in
it's
each class?
you know, like 24
Got
in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
It's a big difference.
yeah.
So, David, your company, Endeavor Life, it's all about fitness, and probably a recent problem now that we're in quarantine is to keep fit, to keep active, how do you have any tips for us and what for everyone how to stay active and stay fit during
Yeah, definitely. Um, so yeah, like at the moment in lockdown, there's people want to stay fit and healthy, and it's really
What do you say?
important that happens because like obviously we can see from coronavirus, if you're healthier, then you don't have as bad symptoms usually. Like you're much
Yeah.
more likely to be able to fight off the virus if you have a healthy body. So I think at the moment, more and more people are looking at how they can stay fit and how they can stay healthy. So I'd say like the top two tips that I would give people. The first one, which my mum will be really pleased with, is eat vegetables, because
Yeah.
All right.
when I was like way younger, I hated veggies, man. I
I would
hated
say I do
vegetables.
too.
I was like, give me cereal, and I was happy with cereal. But mum always was like, you've got to eat your veggies, you've got to eat your veggies. And like it is really important, because we get so many micronutrients. So things like all your vitamins and minerals, they come from vegetables. And so they're the things which actually help your body to stay strong and healthy on the inside.
Yeah.
So like when you're if you've got like in this situation where coronavirus is a problem, then having all those vitamins and minerals helps your body to fight off infection, basically, and being like, it's like the defense, it's like
Mhm.
it's like the army to go out and like they'll defend your body from attack from this virus.
Yeah, everybody should have.
So there's definitely like, that's the first thing. And the second thing is like find some kind of activity that you enjoy doing, right? So like fitness, it doesn't have to be, fitness isn't just going to the gym, right? So going to the gym is like training. It's one kind of fitness, but like being fit could be like going for a run, going for a ride on your bike. It could be rock climbing. it could be playing football, it could be doing all these different sports, and it could even just be going for a walk for some people. Like that is what they can do, is go for a walk. Like you lads are all fit and young, and so like what you're used to doing now, that's good. Yeah, like keep that up. Like as you get older, most people kind of slow down, so like they become less active, and so going for a walk for them is like a really good thing. But basically, when it comes to fitness, most people get put off because it's hard. Most people get put off because it hurts the muscles and they have to work, and like it's much easier to just sit on the sofa. So what I say is just try and find an activity that gets you active that you enjoy doing, because if you enjoy it, you're going to do it more, and that's going to be like a great starting place for where you then want to go. You know, like for me, when I was your age, I was like out on my bike. I'd ride my bike around all the time. So like get home from school, get my bicycle, go out, just like cycle around the villages and stuff, go knock on my mate's door and like, mate, do you want to come out? And then we just go and ride around the woods together, and we just do that for hours and hours and hours. And so like that kind of set my baseline of activity. Like what was kind of normal for me was riding on my bicycle for hours. And so that then kind of went into sport. Like I played rugby quite a lot, and so got like a lot of fitness and a lot of enjoyment from fitness from playing rugby, which then has kind of continued into my adult life now that I kind of train in the gym more and don't play rugby as much. So like when you're starting out, there shouldn't be like a pressure to do everything perfect, because perfection is pretty much impossible. Like we can work towards it, we can have high standards for ourselves, but to try and be perfect straight away, it's not achievable. So like for you guys, for people listening that are maybe your age, I would say like just find something that you enjoy doing that's active, you know, things that are accessible, that you want to like do with your friends, because that community, like you can link up with your mates and do stuff, that's going to make it something that you're going to want to do over and over, because it's that human interaction which makes all this stuff fun. Like, I'm not going to lie, I don't always want to train by myself. Like, I don't have this like constant motivation to work out alone. It's very much for me, like, I like being with my friends when I train. So like, it's like the same as when I used to ride my bike. You know, I want my friends to join me when I work out, when I'm doing activities. Like, I think that's really important, to try and bring your friends in and create like a community of people that like to do the same sort of thing. Because then when one of you's feeling down and the other one's feeling up, then this person up here can lift the other person up, you know, and you can like support each other in that journey. Like you boys are supporting each other on this podcast.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Do you know, like, guarantee there's one day when one of you's like, oh, you know what, lads, I'm just not really like feeling it today. And the other boys are like, no, that's not going to happen. Get yourself on it. We've got this podcast to do. And you're like pulling each other up. And that supportive nature is what helps us all to grow. So they're probably like my two main tips for people to start.
Yeah, definitely. Great advice, David.
David, you're really, really well informed about this. Like, when did you start getting into fitness and started learning about all these things?
For me, it was like it organically started when I started going to the gym when I was 15. Like I was playing rugby in England and I was doing like quite good. And obviously rugby is like quite a violent sport.
Yeah.
You have to be strong, yeah. So I started going to the gym when I was 15, and then kind of just like I didn't think of it like I was going to the gym to get fit. I felt like I was going to the gym to get better at rugby. Like that was my goal, that was my mindset. And so the purpose of going to the gym was to be better at rugby. So I was doing that from 15 through till I was 18. Like I was playing rugby and going to the gym to supplement that. Then like after I was 18, that's when I started to kind of go to the gym just to go to the gym. Like I'd go with my friends, we'd go and like lift weights and stuff, and it was kind of more to do with getting in better shape and staying fit and healthy and stuff like that. But like as a result of doing that, I started learning more about training. Like I had a coach when I was 15 through to when I was 18 at the rugby club, and they would teach me how to use the weights properly. They would coach me on like how to move and my technique and things like that. So I learned a lot from the people that were around me. You know, like I was in a good environment to learn from other people. And then I realized that when I was like 18, I realized that I really enjoyed it. Like I really enjoyed the training.
Yeah,
So
that's important.
yeah, exactly, man. Like
Mhm.
I realized I enjoyed it, and then I went to university and did a degree in strength and conditioning, which is basically
Oh.
like fitness, effectively. You know, it's like how to
Mhm.
get strong and how to get fit for elite athletes. So I learned about it then. So that's when it kind of got more serious. That's when it's like not just a kind of hobby; it was more like a start of a career. And so like came out of university with this degree, and then from that point on I was working in the fitness industry. But the truth is that most of my knowledge has come from speaking to other people. It's from like working out with friends that are PTs and like asking them questions and like learning from them,
Yeah.
and Instagram and Facebook. Like we have this amazing wealth of knowledge available, right, lads? Like you can basically learn anything off YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
I taught myself how to edit on Premiere Pro just from watching YouTube. So like all of that stuff's crazy. And so like it's interesting because like formal conversations, they're really important, and like they give you this great like baseline of knowledge. But then the important thing I think is like how do you then learn more? How do you apply that information you have and reach kind of like how do you gain more information from your friends? It's by like talking to people and like sharing that knowledge.
Mm.
Because like how hard is it to just like read a book and remember what the book said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like really hard. Like I fucking
Yeah.
you can't do it with one glance.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's easier if you like read the thing and then you talk to your mates about it, because then you kind of like discuss it and it kind of settles in your head more. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got about it.
So,
Wait,
I
wait.
got another. About you. You're actually you're very into fitness. Are you? Would you like? Would you be able to coach another athlete? Would you like?
I have coached athletes in the past,
What
It's
kind of athletes?
like rugby players, and
Okay.
it's so you've got two different ways with fitness. Yeah, you've got athletes, and then you've got what we call general population. So like regular people that aren't athletes. Yeah. So like athletes, their goal is to get better at their sport. So when you coach them, everything is like, how can we get you better at your sport? So let's say rugby players, okay, what's going to make you better? Well, if we get you stronger, like primarily in your legs, if we can get you faster and more powerful, then you're probably going to be better at your sport. And then obviously you need to be fit enough to run around the rugby pitch for 80 minutes. So like that's all that matters to them. Whereas with like general population, we have to think of other things. So we think like most people, they want to look good. That's their first goal. They want to look like they work out. So you're thinking of it from a different perspective. You're thinking of it from like, how can we help them lose body fat and build muscle mass so they feel good about themselves? So it's like two different ways of thinking about things. This is for athletes, it's a performance basis to start. And then with general population, it's an aesthetic, like it's a visual thing that most of them want first off.
Well, obviously, we watched the show, and how do you feel about how it blew up, top 10 in a lot of countries? How do you feel about all of that?
Mate, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like the show kind of just erupted. It exploded like out of nowhere. It came out on the Friday, and then by like the Saturday, it seems like everyone had seen it. It was crazy. I thought it was good that they translated it into all the different languages. So different countries could actually hear it properly, and kind of be more in the experience with us, because obviously we're English speaking and obviously most countries are not. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. It was amazing that so many people enjoyed watching it. What did you boys think?
Well, first of all, some of us watched it together. Well, not in the same house, but we watched it like on a Netflix party. We would talk about it. We really enjoyed it. We watched it in like a few days, 5 days, 4 days, and then we became completely obsessed. It was a really nice show. We liked the whole idea of like making deeper connections.
Yeah, also, like the episodes were about 38 to 39 minutes, and there were some that were over 40 and 42. So whenever an episode was under 40, I was just sad. It was sad.
That's good, boys. Is it like, for you guys watching it, do you think that most reality shows they don't have much substance, whereas because this is about deeper connections, is that something you guys want?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it was obviously different. That's why we're not really into watching all these shows. But when we saw this show, we realized it was different, and we decided to watch it, and really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime our friends would log off, we were like, no, 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 no. We were like like try to convince them to stay on to like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It was a really good experience. So thank you for that.
That's all right,
Yeah.
boys.
So let's just.
But excuse me, you mentioned blowing up, like the show blowing up. How did it feel on Instagram to like you had like how many followers before the show and then so many people just followed you at once? How did it feel?
Well, all right. So I started off with like 25,000. So I had about 25,000 followers before the show went out, and I think today it's like
850, yeah, we checked.
yeah, it's 850, right? So
It's around. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
so it's interesting, because I was chatting to my friend the other day, and it's like it doesn't feel real, because Instagram is digital, and it's just like a number on a screen. The thing to me, like when I look at it, it doesn't really change much. The thing that changes for me is having these conversations with lads like you. It's like the human interaction.
Yeah.
I don't care about the amount of followers I have. What I care about is speaking to people and like engaging and like allowing getting the opportunity to share some knowledge. So like this chat with you boys, this is like the highlight of my day,
Thank you
because
so much.
it's
Thanks a
such a
lot.
cool opportunity for me to speak to lads that are like much younger, that are obviously driven, that have got aspirations, that are like really professional. This is such a professional
Thank
setting, you know?
Thanks a lot.
So
We try.
for me, having a big number on Instagram doesn't matter. I don't care. What I care about is being able to speak to other people. And so at the moment, it doesn't feel very real because I can't see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
but
So
I look outside into my, like, there's some like space out here, and I think to myself, how many people could fit in this space? And maybe like, I don't know, a couple thousand. And I think to myself, damn. So it's like 100 times the size of that,
Oh my
Like,
god.
it's crazy.
yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
Now we were talking about followers just now. Do you feel the publicity you gain from the show is having a good effect on you or not?
I think that for me as a person, it's not really changed anything yet. Like I still feel very much the same before as after, but the publicity has just given me this opportunity to share my beliefs and share my knowledge and
With other
share my
people.
passion with
Yeah.
more people. Exactly, man. Yeah. So like it's just given me that, like I've just got a bigger platform to stand on to
Yeah.
tell people about fitness and life and relationships, and like hopefully to inspire people to like live healthier and like happier lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something you were pretty happy about, as you read in the article, the fact that you weren't allowed to read, write, or like use your phones. Is that one of the things you're happy about?
Yeah, dude. Like I'm 30 now. You guys are like 15, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was your age, I didn't have a phone, right?
Yeah.
So like
It changed. Yeah.
I had, yeah, it's changed a lot. So like I would, or maybe I think like when I was 16, maybe I got my first mobile phone, and like the internet was around, but it was like an old chat. It wasn't like this. You couldn't video call,
Mhm.
and so like I grew up in a very different time where there wasn't as much distraction. Like we live in this crazy world now. Like your phone can ping at any time. You're constantly like looking at it. Like I've got multiple notifications on my phone. People trying to reach me. Like my phone, my laptop that we're on at the moment. My emails keep dinging at me as well. Like constantly something is like trying to get my attention. And so at the moment, like the world we live in is very much like it's hard to concentrate on stuff because there's constantly something else asking for you to look at it. And so being in the retreat, we didn't have any of that, right? Like the whole point of it was to build connections with the other people. It was to like talk to them and understand what's going on and like build relationships. And it very much took me back to how my life was when I was your age. You know, like all I cared about was going to school, having fun at school, coming back, going out on my bike, meeting up with my mates and playing football. It was like a really, like, it was just simple and it was fun. And like, there was no anxiety. I didn't worry about stuff. It was like easy. And it's the same when I was there in the retreat. It's like, you don't have that constant attention grabbing from something else. Like you can focus solely on the thing that you're doing, and that actually, like, it's harder to do it now. We have to almost like deliberately try and do it instead of just being able to, because there's constantly other things. So like for me, what I did when I came out is I tried to do as much as possible to recreate that. So it's been really hard this week, but like I turn most of the notifications off on my phone. So like Instagram doesn't come up at all. Facebook doesn't come up at all.
Thank God you saw ours.
Email.
Yeah, like email. I don't get notifications on my email. Like it doesn't ding or anything, but I check my emails like once a day.
Yeah.
And so like instead, it's now a case of I put my attention to one thing at a time, and it's like I'm focused on that one thing. Because when you try and focus on loads of different stuff, you can't really focus at all. Like, can you boys imagine if I was sat here and I'm on my phone, I'm like, yeah. Hang on, wait. And I'm like, what's the question again? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
that's-
rude for you, and it means I'm not really paying attention. So I just try and be like focused, because that's where we gain the most out of things, when we actually give like our full attention to something.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed it.
What's that, mate?
You enjoyed the not having phones and books and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. It was refreshing.
Also, coming out of the show, what friendships, relationships did you keep
Oh,
with
that's a good one.
other members?
Yeah, great question, man. To be honest, like I'm in touch with most of them most of the time.
Sharon.
Like I chat with, who do I chat with the most? Like Nicole. I speak to Nicole a lot. I speak to Matt a lot. Like Nicole lives quite close to me, so we've met up loads since the show finished. Like Lydia, Chloe, Matt, Sharon, Kels, Bryce, like Harry, pretty much everyone, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience, and we all got on, so we're all still in touch.
So there's of course you probably remember in the show that the food you had was, everybody saying, at least Harry said, it was fantastic. It was the best food they ever had.
And you had like dinners off camera.
Yeah.
And you couldn't talk on the show about the show.
Yeah, could you explain a bit about
What
that?
did you What did you guys talk about?
What was your favorite
And if you
meal?
like the food.
Yeah.
Mate, the food was so delicious. Like honestly, it was like the best fucking food ever. like, there was a private chef that cooked us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it would be like this huge like buffet of food, like freshly cooked, like fresh toast, pancakes, like scrambled eggs, sausages, bacon, like
Drooling.
oh mate, same. Looking back, like oh, it's so good. But like we'd all sit down together, we'd sit around and we'd chat about stuff, but we couldn't talk about things obviously that we needed to be on camera to talk about. You know, like if there's anything about relationships or things that had happened there, then we can't talk about it. So the things we talked about was more like stuff that was outside of it. You know, like we talk about social, you know, like what you're doing and what you've been doing in life, and just kind of more general chat. Nothing like massively exciting though.
Yeah. So Dave, David. So tell us. Oh my God, I'm sorry. You know, we were we were
We
unprepared,
didn't
but
expect that much
we
time,
didn't
but
we didn't expect to even on. Talk to us a little bit. Like, tell us. Yeah. Tell us how's life. You know, how's your sister? How's your family? You talk.
Mate, life's good. Like my sister's sweet. We it's interesting because like I moved out from my family home when I was 16. Yeah, so like I moved out and lived with other people, and my sister went to university as well about around the same time. So we hadn't lived together since I was like basically your age, and then like 5 years ago, so like we hadn't lived together for like 10 years. And then we're like, oh, should we move in together?
United.
We like reunited and we came together. Like it's crazy because actually that time apart, it was good for us, you know. Like we didn't always get on when we were younger. Like we'd argue and stuff. And like when you're growing up, like your siblings are important, but I'd like argue with my sister and stuff, and like I'd argue with my brother, and it's difficult, isn't it, when you're trying to like decide how hey, you're all growing up and figuring things out. So like we kind of spent some time apart, and then when we came back together when I was like 25, and it's just been brilliant because we had the opportunity to kind of mature. And now when you know we don't bicker like we did, we don't argue, we're not petty, and it's just like, you know, we both matured and stuff. And it's interesting, you know, like my relationship with my family when I was your age, when I was younger, was completely different to how it is now. Like I've grown up a lot. I've matured a lot. I've like read a lot of books and put time into like understanding why I'd react to things.
Yeah.
And then now it means that when we're having conversations, if like one of us like gets really mad for some reason and it seems like, whoa, what's going on, like why are you getting so annoyed, we can then like talk it through and we can like be like, okay, so what's actually going on, why are you getting annoyed, and then we can kind of figure out the problems, and that brings us closer together. Like the more that we talk and we don't judge each other, that's the really important thing. Like when you're a teenager, when you're growing up, like there's so much like you're trying to fit in everywhere. Like you're trying to fit in, you're trying to figure out who you are, like what's cool, what's not cool, like who's the cool kids, and like what do they wear, and like what do they listen to and watch on TV, and like it can change in a second what is cool and what isn't cool, and you think you're doing the right thing and then all of a sudden you're not, and you're like, what the fuck, this is so hard. I was fucking right there with you. And so you're always trying to like figure things out, and maybe like because people judge you, you end up kind of doing it to other people. But then what I realized, I got to a point and I was just like, fuck that, I don't care. Like I just started to think like, what do I actually like doing? What are the things that are important to me?
And you go for it.
And then you go for it, exactly. So you boys are obviously like, what's important to you is this podcast. It's like speaking to people, it's talking together. So like you boys are doing that. And when you commit to something and you do the thing that you love and you kind of work towards it, there's going to be haters. There's going to be people that will like try and pull you down because they don't like that you're reaching for something. They don't like that you're taking that risk and you're going forward. And they'll try and pull you down and they'll try and make you feel like shit. But fuck them.
Yeah.
You know, like you focus on what you're doing. And when you don't really care about the external stuff and you just think like, okay, what do I want to get out of my life? What are the things that are important to me? What do I love doing? Then you can be like, okay, I'm comfortable in this space. This is fine because this is all the good shit about me. And I know who I am and I'm a great person. And then you don't judge other people because you realize that like everyone else is just trying to figure out their way through life. Everyone's just trying to like know what they like, know where to fit in, know where to go. Like it's all very much like you're just trying to figure things out. But I'm glad that you boys are doing this. And
Thank
I'm
you,
glad
David.
Well, yeah, when
A
you
great
came on,
note to end
Great
on.
advice, great advice.
no, when you
As
came on,
the call's closing.
when you came on, it really helped us since we didn't know where this was going. And when we realized you would come on, we really got motivated. We worked on it, and we could continue on to other things.
Yeah, now we're trying to
And-
build an audience, and we're
Exactly.
trying to try things.
Thank you so much for that.
I'm
Thank you
glad,
so
I'm
much.
glad that you did it. Well done for reaching out. You guys took a risk, and I'm glad that we got a chance to talk
Thank
to
you
you.
so
David.
much,
Yeah.
David.
Well,
Really, I
that's
appreciate it.
all for today.
David, Birtwistle,
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks
Thanks so much.
again.
No,
Uh,
worries. Have a great day. I'll see
Yep.
you all real soon.
Yep,
Smash
hope
it.
so. Yeah.
Take care.
Bye, David.
Bye, David. Bye.
Bye, David.
Bye.
Fucking hell, man.